And here it is. Joey Wendell at second. Stephen Vogt will DH. Brian Healy at third. Chris Davis in left. Yonder Alonso at first. Marcus Semien will play shortstop. Bruce Maxwell behind the dish. And then Smolinski and Olsen will play center and right.
And it's Taijuan Walker on the mound for the Mariners. He was their home opener starting pitcher back in April. A long time ago. He's made a couple starts against the A's. No decision and loss. But his record on the season, 7 wins, 11 losses, and they expect a lot more from this young man in the future. And the A's hope, and of course they're going to be seeing him quite a bit as well, but they hope to beat him tonight to end their 4-game losing streak.
Aoki, Martin, and Smith in the outfield. Seager, Marte, Cano, Lynn on the infield. Zunino is the catcher. So same setup as last night for the Seattle Mariners.
That man hopes the results are different. I don't think he would like to finish the season losing as much as they have. They've lost 4 in a row, 3 in Anaheim and the 4-game series here, and lost last night, another tough 1-run loss.
So Joey Wendell steps in. Wendell, Vogt, and Healy the first 3, and Walker kicks and deals the first pitch of the game, and it's a swinging strike. Wendell at 250, homer, 9 RBIs. Had an at-bat in the game last night, did not start. Umpires tonight. James Hoy will call balls and strikes. Marvin Hudson's at first. Crew chief Jim Joyce at second. Chad Fairchild down at third. Jim Joyce will have the season finale on Sunday behind home plate.
Chewing the gum, getting his throat ready for Sunday. He's good. Been around a long time, Jim Joyce has. Outfield, not surprisingly, playing very shallow in left field, as we saw Aoki last night.
Hit hard, just fouled. A's are 67 and 92, 33 and 45 on the road. And they've struggled against the Mariners this year. They're 5 and 11 against Seattle. Hasn't been here. It's been at the Coliseum that the struggles were. A's were 1 and 8 against the Mariners in Oakland. They're 4 and 3 here at Safeco Field.
Well, the one game that really stands out against King Felix, he had an 8-4 lead against the Mariners, and Mariners defeated the A's 9-8. A game in which he had a chance to beat King Felix. Did not happen, though.
Joey Wendell hits another one hard past Ron Washington.
Fastball to top out mid-90s for Taijuan Walker. He'll also throw a cutter off of his fastball, slider, curveball, split finger fastball. He's got the entire assortment that he can use.
In the dirt. Walker has pitched well as of late. He's won 3 out of his last 4 starts. And one of those games was a 3-hit shutout against the Angels in LA, where he had 11 strikeouts. So he's finishing on an uptick. In the hole. Throws, and they just get Joey Wendell on a very close play.
You know, seeing the speed of Joey Wendell down the line, that's got to be impressive to the A's, to see him hustle first of all, but to get down and be quick down the line. Just avoided. Almost got a base hit with that last stride.
There's the 2 starts Ray was talking about. On the 23rd of May, Taijuan Walker went 7 1/3 innings. He gave up 5 runs to the A's, but only 1 was earned. And shortstop Chris Taylor made a couple costly errors, and the A's took advantage. 1-0 pitch to Vogt. 2-0. Shift is on for Stephen Vogt.
And back on the 23rd of May, Stephen Vogt, 3-1 fastball, gone.
So that's the only earned run.
Yep, that was it.
The final score was 5-0 A's.
And you know, you could see watching that swing by Stephen Vogt and how important it is if you have a fastball count and you can expand. The pitch really was outside. It happened to be up from Walker to Stephen Vogt, but he got out in front, loaded up quickly, and then able to pull the ball in right field seats.
Pitch is eased in there, first strike. Healy to follow, just underway from Safeco Field.
If I look at this pitcher, Taijuan Walker, I think of the quarterback across the way. What's that guy's name? Russell
Wilson.
Guy looks like he could play quarterback.
Yeah, he is big. 6'4", 235.
A lot of hopes for Walker, Paxton, a couple of guys. Of course, Iwakuma pitched well all the time. Same with King Felix. But like the A's, they're seeing some guys they'd like to see better, improve based on their ability to pitch at the major league level. And Walker is one of them. He's one of the key pieces.
So that'll bring up Healy with a runner aboard. First pitch in for a strike to a red hot Ryan Healy, who has a 5-game hitting streak where he's 10 for 19.
You know, we talked about Marcus Semien in our open, but if you think from the manager standpoint, to be able to say every day pencil in a third baseman, a shortstop, and get production defensively, offensively. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen with Matt Chapman. He's going to factor in there someplace, but it's pretty special for a manager, especially for Healy and Semien both, to work hard, want to play every day. That misses. Let's see if it came up and hit him in the back knee. No, on the left foot.
So down in the count 0-2. Chris Davis waiting in the on-deck circle. Close pitch, 95 miles an hour, a little bit inside. This is the month of September. Ryan Healy, second in all of baseball in total hits. Joey Votto, who's had a huge second half, has 39. Picked out of the dirt by Zunino. He wasn't going to be able to block it, so sometimes you just got to get a little bit lucky.
And the ball found the glove, stuck the glove out, and he would admit, got it there, no chance for the body in front of it, but swinging the bat well is Zunino, and also always been able to do the job behind the plate.
Up the middle, Marte scoops it, flips to Cano, and the throw a little bit low, but Lind handles it, and that's a double play. 6-4-3, and the A's do not score in the top of the first. First inning. Lineup has Nori Aoki in left, Seth Smith in right, Robinson Cano at second, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager, Adam Lind in the middle, and Martin Zunino Marte. That's the same lineup as last night for Scott Service.
And Raul Alcantara, who faced the Mariners at the Coliseum on 9/11 and had a no decision, pitched well. A couple of runs in 5 2/3 innings. Did give up a hit or a home run to Mike Zunino on a hanging slider. 2-run shot, actually, game of which Seattle won by a score of 3-2. So that turned out to be a big one.
So Nori Aoki steps in. He had a couple of hits last night. Facing Raul Alcantara. Last chance to make a statement. First pitch is in for strike. Smith to follow, and then Cano here in the bottom of the first. Mariners are 85 and 74, playing well down the stretch. They won 6 out of 8. But they are running out of time. Those scores that the Mariners are watching closely. The Orioles are leading the Yankees 8-1 going to the bottom of the 9th. The Red Sox just scored 4 in the bottom of the 7th to take a 5-3 lead over the Blue Jays. So that's a big one. Blue Jays were winning that game 3-1, but Red Sox dropped to 4 spot. And the Tigers leading the Braves 6-1 in the 8th inning. Miguel Cabrera, a couple of home runs. So none of those games are final, but they're getting close. So that's the games of interest for the Seattle Mariners. That's a big turn of events at Fenway Park. Blue Jays kind of limping home.
And for the Red Sox, they're playing with house money because they've already won the division, and it makes a big difference. And just the question of the home field advantage. Though Texas, Cleveland, yes, Boston trying to, but I think the Red Sox just feel if they can get in or they're already in, and they'll take over from there.
And you can sort of predict, Ray, last weekend at Fenway for David Ortiz, you could sort of predict what happened in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Yeah.
David Ortiz with a 2-run homer that broke that 3-3 tie, his 38th of the year. Milwaukee does what he does, flips a foul. Over in the National League, the Mets just won their game. The Cardinals are winning 5-0 in the 7th. Giants are just getting set to get started against the Dodgers. It's all about the 2 wild cards on the final weekend. Division champions are all taken care of. 2-2 pitch. Under the glove of Alcantara. He may have got a piece of it, and Aoki's going to be aboard. So it'll be an infield hit for Aoki. Here's the A's defense. Davis, Smolinski, and Olsen in the outfield. Healy, Simeon, Wendell, Alonso on the infield, and Bruce Maxwell is your catcher. Alcantara got some leather on that.
Not enough though. And the high changeup, and for someone who swings the way Aoki does, you throw him a high changeup, he won't make contact. It's just a matter of where it's going to go.
So here's Seth Smith. First pitch to Smith, just a little bit outside. Smith at 252. He's got 16 home runs. He was 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts last night. Happy birthday, Seth Smith. 34 years old today.
Well, you gave him one yesterday. You said happy early birthday.
I wanted to get a jump on everybody.
Yeah, you did. And so everybody can send him a gift today.
That's right. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Down the left field line. Well, foul. Cano to follow.
As I mentioned, our open type, the fact that Alcantara is facing the Mariners for the 2nd time. See what kind of effect that has tonight. Of course, they were able to look at some video, which I'm sure they did, considering they're still somewhat in a race, and want to try to figure out how he pitched them last time, which is early part of this month. I don't know if he'll be able to throw Robinson Cano a 3-2 changeup and fool him like he did at Oakland. He might be all over it. Plus, it doesn't look like the changeup working as effectively tonight.
That one's hit well to center. Smolinski hustling back, and he's going to get there, and he makes the catch. Aoki had got to second base. He's got to turn around and get back.
Well, he hit it well, but after fouling the ball down the left side for strike one, then this fastball straightaway center. I think Smitty started running to first base knowing he did not get enough, especially in this park. Saw last night some balls hit hard, did not travel out of the park. Chad Penders did, though. Congratulations on his first home run.
You get the ball back?
Oh, when they use bullpen. Yeah, it's perfect. Couldn't have happened better in the bullpen in left field.
So here's Robinson Cano, 297, 36 homers, 97 RBI. Timeout call. Not sure what was going on there. Robert Hudson kind of hustled out in front of the two gentlemen at first base. First pitch to Cano. Outside. Cano having a very, very fine season.
Thing about Alcantara pitching Cano away, once again, as we showed in our open, he uses the whole field, and as a result, this is a beautiful thing to see. How about a straight up defense, infield and outfield? That's because Cano can use the whole field as well as anybody.
Rips that one foul. Yeah, we've seen Cano hit home runs right down the left field line. Exactly. We did it at the Coliseum a couple times. That's pretty good.
That's exactly right. As many to center and left as he has pulled. Actually, a few more, but you get 49 to left field. That's why he's a perennial doubles machine. I mean, he can hit the long ball, which he has this year, put up some great numbers.
1-1 pitch. That's hit well to center. Smolinski going back on this one, and it is gone. Robinson Cano, a 2-run homer here in the first.
Just looking down at number 99. No longer 99. Fastball. This is a little bit different than what Seth Smith did. As Robinson Cano, with his ability for the power to the opposite field. This one to left center. Ball started really slicing away from Smolinski, but into the party deck. And left center for number 37. Robbie Cano.
He's also now 99 RBIs, so one away from 100. And here's Nelson Cruz. A home run last night by Zunino for the Mariners, and a home run early tonight. Mariners now with 218 home runs for this season. That's third most in the American League. So it's what they do best offensively. Robinson Cano, 4th home run in the last 10 games. He had a big series down in Houston right before the Mariners came home for this final weekend. So 1-2. Cruz, he's got 41 home runs, tied with Chris Davis for 4th in the American League in home runs. He's also 10th in the league in RBI. Shot to left, and that's a base hit.
Well, you make a mistake in the plate, on the plate, up in the zone, and this is with 2 strikes. But look at the location. That's the killer. If you're pitching at this level to major league hitters who are good, and you just saw Robinson Cano and now Nelson Cruz, you cannot make a mistake in the middle of the plate.
So a quick meeting. settle Alcantara down a little bit. He's given up 3 hits here in the first.
I think that was Alonso going over to an interpreter.
That's a good call.
Maxwell. Alex is up here. He can't go down on the field.
Pitch to Seager is outside. So I want to let viewers know the A's insider Joe Stiglitz will join us in the 3rd inning. Joe Stiglitz going to hang out with us for a little while, so we're looking forward to that. Talk about some of the awards in Major League Baseball. See who he likes. Ray and I are going to let you know who we like.
Mariners on their fan appreciation night had their presentations as Nelson Cruz won the Heart and Hustle, I think it was, and Iwakuma the pitcher, and Robbie Cano the player MVP. Pretty good choices, pretty good selections.
Two and 1 the count to Kyle Seager. He got 30 homers and 99 RBIs. Now it's 3-1. So Alcantara is going to have to come in here. On deck is Adam Lind. Short lead for Cruz at first. And Seager takes the walk. So 3 hits and a walk now, and that'll bring up Lind. Kurt Young will now visit Alcantara.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kurt Young's a gamer because he took an unbelievable hit in Anaheim, and there's said heading to the mound last night and tonight going a little bit slowly, and I think he has to kind of be upright most of the time. Equilibrium. He got hit very hard in the back of the ear.
Yep, had a pretty good bump.
Yes, he does.
So RBI opportunity for Adam Lind. He's hitting .239, 20 homers, 58 RBIs. He was 2 for 4 last night. Mariners had 12 hits. 3 runs and 12 hits. 11 singles and a home run last night. In the dirt, now 1-1. That first start was not a good one for Alcantara. It's a little wild, maybe a little nervous, a lot going on, but since then he has settled in and he's throwing the ball pretty well in the next 3 starts.
And we're always going to see that hit 3 batters in his first inning of his first start, and we know that he only hit 2. The third hit the bat. That would hit the shin guard and the umpire, but still went to the backstop. So he's a little bit like he was in his debut.
So that they're saying wild pitch. That ball in the dirt.
Yeah, I think it's just barely in the dirt. Yeah, he throws as hard as Alcantara, and Maxwell just not able, or at least did not move his body, just tried to back in it like Zunino earlier. It seems like an hour ago, but it was just the top of the inning. A lot of pitches for Alcantara, and in serious trouble.
Infield in. Ball's capped to Wendell. Looks, throws to first. Cruz was dancing around a little bit over there at third. It's up stinging.
That looked like an at-bat by a hitter who said, I'm going to drive in a run. I'm going to get a pitch. This pitch out of the strike zone, try to pull it. Last night we saw him hit a couple of balls sharply up the middle. One caught by Semien, the other in the center field. But if he had had that approach similar to what Cano had, there'd been 2 more runs on the board. So big out by Alcantara. If you can get the 3rd now, yeah, quite an accomplishment for him in the 1st inning.
Well, here's Martin. Martin takes a strike. Ryan Healy, the 3rd baseman, has to come in just in case. Martin's a very good bunter. And him bunting here would not surprise any of us.
And he may try to drag it if he does bunt, because if he gets it by Alcantara, a long run from window to get to the ball, and with his speed.
Full strike. 0-2.
I don't think Martin liked it. Thought it was too low. This is what the umpire saw it at the knee level.
That one down and into Leonis Martin. 15 homers, 46 RBIs. He had a big hit last night, RBI single. Also scored a run, had a couple of hits. And he swings and misses, side retired. So Robinson Cano with a 2-run homer, and the Mariners have a 2-0 lead after 1. Is brought to you by AAA. Get a free A Stadium blanket with any new AAA membership. Visit a participating AAA branch today. Restrictions apply. Two 2-0. The Mariners lead the A's. I think I walked by that today.
Did you take a ride on it?
No, that water thing.
Oh, I thought about the Ferris wheel. You liked Ferris wheel
last year. Didn't look like it was going at that point today.
You were probably up early.
Oh yeah, 5:30.
Yeah, I thought that'd be you.
Yep. Bringing up the sun.
Cap in the sun.
Yep.
Just like in
beat the sun. You got to beat the sun.
Wisconsin, right?
Yep. That's right.
Get out on the farm and milk the cows.
Right. Stuff to do. What they say, Ray. Cows aren't going to milk themselves. Right? You gotta take care of it. That's what my dad used to say. Yeah. Let's go. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Davis, Alonso, and Simeon here in the second inning. So Taijuan Walker with a couple of early runs. Big curve by Walker.
For Chris Davis to have accomplished really a lot this season. Really the magical 40. Got 41, 100 runs batted in. Just playing out the season.
Well, you're always looking for stuff to play for. Statistical goals, and maybe for Chris Davis, maybe try to get the average to 250.
Yeah.
Would be a nice spot to get to. Certainly not going to make or break his season, but
you know, with the exception of banging into the wall a couple of times, getting hit on the left elbow, he's been healthy.
Yeah.
And to be able to be in the lineup, either DHing or playing left field.
Yeah, game number 149. Taps this one toward the shortstop Marte. One away here in the second inning. And that'll bring up Yonder Alonso. Alonso hitting in the 5th spot.
Okay, if you said it best last night, and talking to Alonso today about the thing that you talked about, and that's being healthy, playing the number of games that he has all season. He talked about being injured the last 3 years. He said just a matter of getting hit. And really not anything more than just getting hit and having to miss some time. But this year he stayed healthy. He saved a lot of errors for guys on the infield. He's got some big hits.
Shoots that one toward left. Aoki gets over there. Alonso hit that ball pretty well.
You know, the one thing he said that, you know, he feels he can hit more home runs. He hit 7. But the important thing for him is to be able to use the whole field, which he does. But at times, if a guy starts thinking about, well, I'm going to pull the balls a little bit more and hit more home runs, then all of a sudden other parts of your game suffer.
I think evaluating Alonso maybe a little bit different than a lot of other guys because his defense is so far above average.
Exactly.
Where you really have to take into account maybe how many runs he saved.
Yeah.
Now you may look and say, well, he's only hit 7 home runs, 54 RBIs, but I said there's a little bit more to what he brings.
Well, he is at a position where he can contribute more than just with his bat.
Yeah, that's true.
As far as saving runs, because I know this gentleman right here, Marcus Semien, Ryan Healy, guys, especially on the left side of the infield where they have to make longer throws. And he is as good as anybody I've ever seen as far as handling the low throws at first base.
Hooked down the left field line, and that will be fair. Settles at the base of the wall, and Marcus Semien is going to have a double.
And there's a great example of what Marcus has talked about, how he's able to pull his hands in, and he'd like to be able to shoot the ball to right field more than he has. But watch this as he takes the pitch inside, gets the hands, opens up, and it's amazing. When pitchers try to pitch him in, they may in the future, the scouting reports say, forget about it, let's pitch him away. And Marcus last night shooting a base hit to right field. Yeah, that was 25th double with that ball down the left field line.
We'll see if Maxwell can knock him in. Maxwell lets it go. 296, a homer and 14 RBIs for Maxwell. A pinch hit RBI single last night. Nice job of going the other way.
Yeah, they were planning him to pull, and he did this against the hard throwing Diaz off the line. And Unfortunately, A's could only score one on that ball hit by Maxwell. That was second and third with a base hit. And unfortunately, at that point, the A's could not plate the next run to at least tie the game.
I was thinking about the ninth inning too. Alonso struck out, Muncy struck out. Obviously, you're frustrating, but the sliders that Diaz was throwing are about as nasty as you're going to see. I mean, those are almost unhittable sliders.
Well, Valencia found out with the sliders that he got after. Really, the first one was a hanger, but then after that, off the plate.
And I'm not making excuses for the A's hitters, but I mean, just watch these pitches. I mean, look at that. That's just nasty.
And the final one, struck out 3, gave up hits second and third, nobody out. Unfortunately, the A's can come up with just one, and in fact, the Mariners scored a run in the top of the ninth.
So Simeon now at third. Be a wild pitch.
Yeah, the hard breaking ball, and you can see him wrap it behind his head, and Danilo got in front of it, but it hit his midsection hard.
So full count to Maxwell. Man, he takes low, so pretty good at bat for Bruce Maxwell.
Again, to chase a 3-2 changeup, he wouldn't bite.
Couple of walks.
You know, the one thing about challenging hitters, while it's good, but in a case like that where you're falling behind or have fallen behind, it becomes a predictable time. Maybe you throw a fastball, he throws a changeup, trying to get a swing and miss. As we talked last night, it's okay unless the bases are loaded, then it's a little different situation. But he had a couple of bases open, one at first, and ended up walking him on the changeup. Now Smolinski, at least he starts fresh with him.
Check swing, foul, straight back. Yeah, a little game management from a pitcher.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And just trying to think, and maybe his catcher Zanino helping him do that.
So 0-1 to Smolinski, hitting .237, 7 homers, 27 RBIs. Been a struggle for Smolinski last month or so. And lately, he's 0 for his last 15 and 3 for his last 35. So you'd like to see him try to finish strong.
I'm a believer that the more a player thinks and knows he's going to be in lineup every day regardless, the better he's going to be. And we have seen Smolinski in center, left, and right, hitting leadoff, hitting ninth. Nice block by Zanino with the runner at third. That ball straight on, so he's able to block it nicely. But all these young players know that it's evaluation time, and maybe putting a little bit too much pressure on themselves.
Especially guys like Smolinski and Eidner, where they've been given a Joey Wendell a pretty good opportunity to play almost every day.
Yeah, exactly.
And then be hard not for them to feel like, hey, this is my shot.
Yep.
This is my chance. Ryan Healy has taken advantage of that, but it doesn't happen that way for everybody. And a nasty breaking ball. Yeah. The A's strand a pair here in the second inning. Bottom of the second coming up. It'll be Zanino, Marte, and Aoki. 2-0 Seattle.
the Science of the Game program to local 1st through 8th graders. Bay Area students had the opportunity to earn a pair of tickets to a regular season A's game by completing fun and challenging science equations about the game of baseball. Get more info at athletics.com/science. I think I'm going to go to that site. Kind of just see what kind of science equations we could learn
sure you
about
want
the
to do
game
that?
of baseball. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
You're a brave man. Contra grabs the bouncer from Zunino.
Listen, if science isn't one of your best subjects, you got to learn all you can.
That's true.
And if it relates to baseball, maybe it makes it a little bit easier.
So with one out, here's Ketel Marte. Marte, the switch hitter, hitting .262. 1 home run, 33 RBI. And 2 for 4 last night with an RBI. This one bounced, first base line. Alonso has to grab it, and then he tags Marte for the out.
That's a good play. You're tempted as a first baseman to say, well, it's going to go foul. But Alonso hustling, being the great first baseman that he is, and able to get it while it's in fair territory, realizing that Marte is in front of him as he made the play. And since he pushed him out of the baseline, got him anyway, and he's out. If Alonso doesn't want to go glove, something's wrong, because he's played some outstanding. If you're looking at pure defense, I don't know that there's many. Well, Hosmer is pretty good at Kansas City. There are others, but I guess they have some way to determine the recipient of the Gold Glove. But if you watch him, as we have on an everyday basis.
Never understood how anything a player does offensively could have anything to do with the Gold Glove. And Aoki spins on that one down the right field line and gone. Nori Aoki, his 4th home run. 2 of them have come against the Athletics, and it's 3-0 Seattle.
I think he's doing a little bit of teasing with the first at bat, but this time, as he did against Daniel Mingden in Oakland, got the leg up, the foot down, open the hips, and gone. I mean, that's not a cheapie either. Robinson Cano on the bench straight up with the arms, and that ball is way out. Off the facade of the second deck.
Right down the line. Aoki, not a big power hitter, but he has showed that against the A's, and he is now 4 for 6 in this series. The crowd buzzing a little bit after that one.
That's right.
1-0 to Seth Smith, who hit a fly ball to center field. Taps this one up the first base line. Alonso picks it up, and that will do it. So Aoki with a home run. It's 3-0, and our A's in center, Joe Stiglich, will join us when we come back. AsCalifornia.com. Each week, our A's insider Joe Stiglitz talks baseball with players, coaches, special guests, and maybe even tonight he'll stop up and see us. The A's Insider Podcast with Joe Stiglitz. It's on CSNCalifornia.com. Sponsored by Max Muscle Sports Nutrition. It's also available on iTunes. And Joe, indeed, has joined us in the booth. Joey, thanks for stopping by. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me up here.
You got a sport coat on. You're ready to go.
Exactly.
You're making us look bad here.
Yeah, one pitch, one out.
Yeah.
Let's go, Joe. Jeez.
So Joey's going to join us for a couple innings. So let's just start with this 2016 season, which obviously has been very disappointing. What are some of the things you have seen, good and bad, from the A's this year?
Injuries, first of all, really played a huge part in this season, obviously, especially with the starting rotation. You look at the 5 starting pitchers. We were talking about down where the writers sit. We were a little bit of a challenge remembering who the 5 starting pitchers were.
I was going to say, that's part of it. You don't even
started.
remember
exactly.
because they've been hurt.
And the injuries just took such a toll there, and that really kind of sabotaged the season from the get-go, all the injuries they had. So, and they fell into a hole in the first half, and it was really tough to make up that ground, and we saw the trades that were made around the trade deadline. So, but now you look at the past, 6 weeks or so, some of the young guys that have come up. I think that's where you really draw the positives looking ahead to next year. You look at guys, guys we've been talking about a lot. Ryan Healy at third base has really come into his own. He's going to be in that starting lineup somewhere in the infield next year probably. And then young guys, Jarrell Cotton, we're going to see him tomorrow. I mean, he's really stepped up. I think he's going to have a great shot to be in the rotation next year. Raul Alcantara may be struggling a little bit, but I think the A's think he's got a lot of upside. Just a lot of, I think the young talent, the optimism with this team right now is with the young talent, and I'm curious to see how many of the guys we're seeing now end up making the team out of spring camp, and some of the guys that aren't here right now I think are going to have a shot to make this team out of camp also.
And with that in mind, how young do you think the club will go in the future, as in 2017?
I think that's a big question and an important question. I'm curious to see how the offseason plays out because of that, because we see the A's, I think a lot of times they try to swing it both ways sometimes. Sometimes they have success with it, trying to rebuild a little bit and going young, but we always see them add some veterans, trying to mix veterans in there. I think what's important is they're really optimistic about this young core of talent in the minor leagues. Make sure you keep spots open for these guys. I think more than anything it's important to keep spots open. If these young guys are knocking on the door in AAA, let them have those spots start next year. I think the direction's got to be with the young players right now.
So spring training could be an interesting situation.
It always is. I'm looking forward to it already.
Down the left field line, that'll be foul. And that, of course, will be here before you know it, but you will have some spots open.
So what do you think, in staying with the youth, as far as there's some veterans, and like you say, having those sprinkled in, but what have you seen with the young players who have been given the opportunity to play consistent? Of course, Healy stands out, but what about Wendell, Maxwell catching, and Ivor Smolinski in the outfield? Some of the guys who've been given the opportunities, how much you see their progress in this final month that may help them in the future? Yeah,
I think so. I look at guys like 2 guys you mentioned, Joey Wendell and Bruce Maxwell. They've come up here and they kind of handle themselves like veterans. And they started playing pretty much when they first got up here, and they're doing well enough to continue to stay in the lineup. And I think the confidence is just building for these guys because they've continued to get the consistent playing time, and they're doing something with it. And a guy like Joey Wendell, he looks like a veteran to me out there. And I think, around this time last year, from what I was hearing in the scouting reports, a lot of people were saying maybe his defense isn't quite up to par, but I think he's been really impressive with the glove so far. Going to his left, going up the middle. And with the bat, he's cooled off a little bit, but gave the A's a real spark in the leadoff spot. So I think he's really kind of making a push for next year. And you see so many of these young guys, they've come up through the system together too. They've had success as a team in single A, double A, and triple A. I think there's a confidence when these guys look around the clubhouse and see other young players they're used to playing with.
Stephen Vogt skies one towards Smith, and he's got it. We'll continue our conversation with Joe. When we come back, we'll talk about some awards, American League and National League. We'll do that when we come back. Right choice. We're going to start with my picks. Guys, you can agree, you can disagree. I went with Mookie Betts and Chris Bryant as my 2 MVPs. And the controversial one, Zach Britton as my Cy Young and Max Scherzer. So you guys can tell me what you think. Michael Fulmer, Corey Seager. Seager probably the easiest pick of all of them. And then as my managers, Terry Francona and Terry Collins. Now, I will say this. The Britton one was the one I probably thought about the most. And that one's hit to center. Has Cano done it again? He has. Robinson Cano with a solo shot, his second home run in the ball game. So he gets to 100 RBIs.
Yeah, he got it, didn't he?
On a home run.
.38 and 100, one shot, one swing of the bat.
That'll do it.
He probably told Aoki, I cheered for you, but I'm going to do it again myself, and he did.
That one went almost to the same spot as his first homer, too.
Yeah, just slightly a little bit more left center, but that's his power we showed in our open, and how the defense plays him straight up just because of his, not only the power, but his ability to use the whole field, and he's definitely shown it with the home runs.
So here's Cruz. So getting back to the picks, and I just wanted to explain to you guys. So the Britton thing, struggled with he and Porcello, and also the National League Manager of the Year, because I think Dave Roberts is a very, very legitimate candidate, and I thought a lot about Dave Roberts. I ended up going with Terry Collins. Just both teams have had obviously a lot of injuries, but those were the 2 that I kicked around probably the longest.
Joe's got a vote, right?
Joe,
American League Cy Young?
American League Cy Young, I have a vote.
So forget about Joe.
When Joe shows us his picks, he will not show us an American League Cy Young pick, because
But I agree with you,
So what did you think?
On the Zach. The only thing I went with Roberts. I picked Britton, but I agree with you on that, because
on Britton?
On Britton, yeah. But I want a different manager, but I think
another drive, deep center field, and Smolinski leaps. Did it go over the wall?
Yeah.
I think it did. Yep, that's a home run. Home run for Nelson Cruz. Jim Joyce was pointing that it went over the wall. And back-to-back home runs by Cano and Cruz. And now it's 5-0. See how close Smolinski came.
The problem with Alcantara, these home runs, they are center cut, and you cannot make a mistake to these guys. And you have to be careful with the next guy coming up. Smolinski went up, the wall kind of stopped him after it goes up right there. The wall got him.
He almost caught it.
He timed that pretty well, too.
Yeah,
he had a shot at it.
They're going to take a look at it. Bob Melvin saying, did it go over? Jim Joyce saying yes, but you know, the home run's the one call that they do and should take a look if it's anything close.
It looked like it just did get over and hit something maybe on the backside of the wall.
Yeah, I think it had missed his glove completely and then bounced back.
Good effort by Smolinski,
Yeah.
but he came very, very close to grabbing that. So we'll see if it indeed stands. Getting a good look at it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to take very long. It shouldn't anyway, because I think if they look at it, the close-up at our guy's head with the glove going up and the ball eluding the glove, meant that it hit something on the other side. Did it hit the glove? Missed the glove. And then, I mean, I don't think the ball would carry him back that far if it hit his glove.
Yeah, it had to hit something firm. So
I mean,
Zach Neal starts to throw.
Sure, he's a good highlight player, but I don't know that that would help that much. So surprisingly, it's taken a long time, but I think they're removing it now to, or maybe not. This is the confusing thing. I mean, if you see the close-ups that our group just showed, I mean, what can you doubt in something like that? I mean, I'd like to see it be a double, but you know, something like that where it clearly missed the glove and hit behind, and if it hit his glove, it was not going to bounce past the warning track back on the grass. So, unlike the ground rule double last night that turned into a double that scored the go-ahead run for the Cardinals, That was strange that it took so long for, I guess, the timing. Since it was a walk-off, they considered it took too much time for Brian Price and the Reds to want to challenge it, and umpires had already gone.
And I watched that play and read about it. It just seemed like they blamed it all on Brian Price.
I know.
But the point was, but you missed a call.
Exactly. No, I agree. And so why are you going to leave? Because it took 30 seconds? How many times have we seen it's a home run? But how many times have we seen where an umpire or a manager stands there and waits and waits and waits till he gets the call from the video room? And
I thought the rule was strange as well. That, and I saw the rule where it says, well, if it's at the end of the game, you have to make an immediate. Oh, really? You have to let them know immediately. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Right. It's maybe the most important play
exactly.
Of the game.
Right.
Well, this one clearly went over his glove and then hit something hard, maybe his chair, or caromed off the chair behind or the rail behind it, and then came back in.
Yeah, there's a railing right there. Maybe it hit behind, that green railing.
And this is kind of an unusual kind of replay too. Maybe that's why it took them a little bit longer just to get a good look at it, but not the kind of replay they're maybe used to doing all that often.
So it is a home run. So guys, let's get back to the choice. So Ray and I both agreed on Zach Britton, and Ray, you'll be interested in this because I had always said if I'm going to pick a closer to be the Cy Young winner, he's going to have off the chart numbers, and to me, Britton does.
Yeah, and I think the reason he's going to get a lot of consideration from a lot of people is that among the starters, there's not a clear cut favorite. I think so. That's what makes this year so interesting. You're right. Britton was so dominant in the closer's role, and that's every year. This is going to be the debate whenever you have a reliever who has a great year. Is should it go to him? Is he out there enough? Is he having a big enough impact on the whole part of the game to get it? So it's going to be interesting to see how that one eventually is voted on by all the baseball writers.
With the win tonight, though, for the Orioles, they have how many? 90. Do they have 90 something?
Yeah,
I mean,
88.
Oh, 88.
He's got 47 saves.
So he's got 40. He's got more than half.
Yeah.
That's 94 would be the half of them. So he's got more than half, which means that when Eck won it, when he had the MVP as well as the Cy Young Award, I mean, he was off the chart, 50-some-odd saves. You know,
it's interesting, Ray, because I looked at Eck's numbers from that 92 because I'm thinking, well, I want to see if there's any comparison. And that one is belted to center.
That's what I was afraid of.
Smolinski leaps, cannot get it. Ball sits at the bottom of the wall, and Seager's going to have a double.
I think he thought he'd gotten another one. That's what I was afraid of. You're looking at a power-packed little part of the lineup, and Alcantara might have thrown his last pitch. Bob Melvin had Zach Neal warming up. And I tell you, Smolinski, between Cano twice, Nelson Cruz, and now this one, that's 4 straight away that he's got plenty of work in, and this one at least keeps it in the park. And, you know, the way Seager was running, he only got to second. He must have thought he got enough of it to get it out, because the way this ball came back and then Smolinski went down, should have been at least a triple.
That would have really been a great catch because it looked like he turned the wrong way first, turned himself back around and made a nice adjustment, just couldn't finish the play.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts. Mariners. All right, Ray Fosse, the great Ray Fosse.
Yeah, right.
All right, Betts.
Good.
So we all agreed on that. Britton and Scherzer. So you went with Max Scherzer as well. Fulmer Seager, and you went with Dave Roberts and Terry Francona. So we were pretty much right on target.
Well, the only reason for me for Dave Roberts is simply because, and granted, you look at the money the Dodgers have to spend, but he had over 50 players. What he had at one time, 27 guys on the disabled list.
Yeah, they have been.
And so to have those young players come in and they kept some of the veterans healthy, but you know the Puig situation, I think Dave Roberts handled it well enough that you know, granted they won the division on Vin Scully's last day of broadcasting in Los Angeles, which really has no bearing on that. But I just think that, you know, for his first season managing, that did quite well, considering maybe the expectations of the Dodgers.
Huge.
Yeah, and then have all the injuries. So, but I agree with Zach Britton, because I just think that a closer can mean so much. As a matter of fact, behind us, somebody passed out Brian Harvey's baseball cards. And Brian Harvey, when the Marlins came in the National League, they picked him because they said if you're an expansion team and you have a victory on the line of the ninth inning, you want to win it with a closer. So they picked him. So here's Britton the same way. You have a lead and you're the Orioles, whether it's a comeback or just having the lead, and he secures it. I think that's pretty special.
All right. Joe Stiglich, he's an insider. And these are his picks. Bryant and Mike Trout.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Scherzer and, of course, the AL Cy Young. That is Joe's official vote, so he cannot reveal what he's going to do there.
Right. But
Seager,
by Sunday,
Fulmer,
he has to have it, right?
He knows. Roberts. So we all went with Francona.
Yeah.
And we all went with Fulmer and Seager. Seager, a very, very easy choice.
The tough one here for me, the AL MVP with Mike Trout. You know, I usually in the past, I've had an MVP vote. I've always gone for a guy who's on a winning team. I've always put a lot of value in that.
Sure.
To me, the American League MVP, I was more eliminating other people, and I ended up, Mike Trout ended up being the guy, because between Mookie Betts and David Ortiz of the Red Sox, I had trouble figuring out who had the most impact there. To me, I kind of canceled those two out.
So who did you have second then after Trout? Betts?
Actually, I had Altuve out of all people. I think he just, I think maybe because we see him more in the American League West, I just think he's such special stuff he brings as a middle infielder. The fact that he's leading the league in hitting, he's become a power hitter this year, a big RBI guy, steals bases, and he plays Gold Glove defense. He did fall off a little bit in September, and the Astros fell off. That's why I went with Trout, who plays for a losing team this year, but you look at the guy's overall stats. I mean, I just think it's overall the package he brings. I went with him. You look at one of the.
That one's flipped to center. Smolinski coming in. He's got it. Seager tags up, comes about quarter of the way down the line, and then stops and turns around and gets back.
I don't always put a whole lot of value on the in-depth sabermetric stuff. You look at the WAR rating, wins above replacement, which is kind of the most all-encompassing stat we have to judge a player's individual value. And Mike Trout is by far leading all major leaguers in that. So that's why I went with Mike Trout in that one. And Chris Bryant, I thought that was kind of a slam dunk. Daniel Murphy from the Nationals, I think, could have made an argument for him too in the National League. But Chris Bryant,
it's almost the Bryant thing. It's almost best player on the best team.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of that simple.
And great across the board numbers. He's also filled in a left field, right field, first base, gives him good versatility. That's why I went there. And I think I agreed with Ray, I believe, on the manager of the year with Dave Roberts. I could have went Terry Collins in the National League for the same reason, because he had so many injuries too, and the Mets, you know, they're still looking at a playoff spot. I was just impressed with Dave Roberts coming in. Big market, big pressure situation, you know, replacing Don Mattingly. There was so much criticism of Don Mattingly over a lot of his managerial moves. Dave Roberts pushed a lot of the right buttons, being without Clayton Kershaw for a lot of this season. I mean, that rotation was such a patchwork job for so long, and the team kept winning, actually improved a little bit during all those changes. I give the manager a lot of credit just for the day-to-day influence he's having there.
And Joe, one thing that Kipe and I talked about, I think last night, between Betts and Ortiz, the fact that Betts is an everyday player, both sides,
right.
Whereas Ortiz DH, and granted, you can't take anything away from him and his age and the way he's performed, even doing it tonight against the Blue Jays at Fenway, hitting a 2-run home run to break that tie. But he's been a hitter, and I tell you, Edgar Martinez could say, yeah, it's not that easy unless you do it all the time. Edgar knew how. Matter of fact, I think he would teach some players on how to become a good DH. But David Ortiz has been spectacular.
I think Mookie Betts is a difference maker defensively. As well.
Because, you know, one thing, Kipe, too, that in Boston Fenway for 81 games, you have to have two center fielders. One in center, Bradley, and one in right.
And they do.
And Mookie Betts can play right field as well as anybody. And may even go back to Dwight Evans as far as the way he can play.
So Cano and Cruz go back-to-back. So it's 5-0 Seattle. We'll continue our chat about the awards that are coming up at the end of the season. So the Mariners doing their part. And the other games, the Orioles won, Blue Jays lost, Tigers won. Boy, the Blue Jays.
Yeah. That's a team I've been saying for a few weeks now. If they get in, they're going to be dangerous just because I think they've got obviously a loaded lineup. And
now you start worrying about them getting in.
Right. That's the thing. Yeah, I just think they've got a chip on their shoulder, getting almost there, but getting knocked out by Kansas City last year. But they got to get there first. It's getting pretty tense right now for them.
And you know who's leading the Tigers is Miguel Cabrera. He is smoking hot right now.
But you know they're going to have to go to Monday. And if that's the case, half game, that could be huge. And unless they'd have to win by 1 to avoid that game.
Well, they'd have to be up a game and a half because it's going to be a half. So they either need to be behind a half or ahead half game, and it is sitting on it right now.
Yeah. I tell you what, when it comes to the Orioles, I went with Francona as manager of the year. I think he deserves it. I think he's going to win. But I gave Showalter a little bit of consideration too, just because as many hitters as they have, their starting rotation on paper is not very imposing at all. So the fact that he's guided them to get this far, I think is pretty impressive too.
All the more reason that Britton is.
He's got a good bullpen.
Right.
And look how many times Buck Showalter would take a starting pitcher and put him in the bullpen. Yeah. He's done that a lot at the time that he's been there. But to turn to Britton, I mean, he's just kind of like a Mariano Rivera. Yeah. And the fact that just one solid pitch.
I think to start that season, you had Boston got all the hype, and you had Toronto based on what they did last year, and the Yankees. People were talking about the Yankees a little bit, and the Orioles and the Rays. But Orioles, I don't think anybody expected them to be in contention this late into the season.
I think it's going to be exciting on Sunday when every game's going to start at the same time, and especially if they're meaningful games. It's going to be fun to watch.
Martin grabs it, so Ryan Healy is retired. We're talking with our A's insider Joe Stiglitz.
It's Joe in the middle.
Joe's a good man.
Joe, back to the A's. You were talking about the young players. What about the managers? The job that Bob Melvin has done with this group of young guys. We're talking about the other managers who could win the award, but that's an exceptional job by the skipper to be able to take the different, especially go young as they've done kind of the last couple of months, and try to bring these kids along, evaluate at the same time, and watch them try to win. Yeah,
no doubt. And kind of a delicate situation when you've got to sit some veterans and give them less playing time in order to get a look at these young kids. You look at a guy like Danny Valencia, who's lost his everyday third base job. He's getting his playing time all around the diamond, really. But I think the manager, I think Bob's done a nice job kind of selling him on that role, and Valencia's continued to produce in it. So definitely a balancing act there, because you want to get a look at everybody who gets called up. The front office wants to get a look at, but there's some egos massaged too, and you want to keep everybody happy in that clubhouse. It seems like everybody's kind of still pushing in the same direction in there.
And to it, I mean, somebody like Bob Melvin, I want to make sure I say this right, but he's got to do this, and it's not really what he wants to do.
No, he wants to.
Right? He wants to be managing in a
right.
pennant race, so it's really, I mean, this is what it is. You know, you do this when your team is struggling, but you want to be managing the team battling for that playoff spot, so you really have to shift gears as a manager, because that's all you're thinking about. Win every game, win every game, win every game. I mean, that's the way you're programmed as a manager. You still want to win, but now you almost have to kind of look at some other things, and that's not easy to do for any manager.
You know, he's put himself in a position that I'm sure there are other clubs would say he'd be a great manager for our club, but he says one thing: I want to win. I want to win right here in the green and gold. I want to win for the Oakland A's, and because he's a Bay Area product, he loves living in the Bay Area, and I think it's just a special time for the organization to have somebody who, like Kipe said, wants to win, but has to also deal with young players to try to develop them into becoming the team that he hopes is going to be a champion.
3-2 the count to Chris Davis.
So how do you do it, Joe? Every day you got to come up with something new as the insider. I mean, this is what everybody expects, you know, something new.
It gets a little tough this time of year, but you know what? Luckily, there have been a lot of young players and a lot of different guys, a lot of different stories to tell. And this time of year, speculating on next year and some of the storylines for next year, the questions the A's have to answer for next year, holes they have to fill are just as important as the games that are being played right now. You know, so I'm trying to, you know, when I'm talking pregame, if I'm talking about it, if I'm writing about it after the game, you're always trying to look forward, look ahead, and try to give people a forecast for next year when we get to this point, obviously.
Speaking of that time, you might explain, as of Sunday, season's over for the A's. What about for you?
Well, I'll take that's a question I get asked more than anything. What happens after baseball season ends? I stay busy, believe it or not. The A's keep me busy with news. As we know, they always stay busy with trades. You know, you're leading up to the winter meetings in December. There's news coming out of the winter meetings after that. So there's always roster moves. They have surprise moves that we don't see coming that you end up reporting on and analyzing. You know, there's staff changes. There's all kinds of little things that tend to keep me busy. And usually by December or January, we start up our weekly baseball offseason show every Tuesday on CSN. So there's a lot to keep me busy. I'll get my downtime. I'll steal my chances to take a little vacation and watch some Cal football and Cal basketball games. But I stay busy, definitely.
0-2 to Yonder Alonso. He's trailing 5-0. Mariners using the long ball tonight. Well, what do you think is the biggest area that the A's have to get straightened out going into next year? I say it's the offense. I think they have to. I don't know if it's the personnel. I think Ray and I have both said many times there's just too many missed opportunities where you really needed a good quality at bat and you just didn't get it.
Right.
Now, does that change with just the personnel getting better at that, or do you need to bring new personnel in? I mean, what do you see with this team offensively?
Yeah, I think the unknown we don't know is there'll be a couple more prospects probably coming up in spring. Could these guys move into the lineup next year? I'm thinking of a guy like Matt Chapman, who had a great spring training last year. And
this could be a double play, and it will be a double play. Chris Davis wandered off. So we will continue our conversation with Joe Stiglitz for one more half inning. It's 5-0 Mariners as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Lead the A's. It's the bottom of the 4th inning. Beautiful look outside Safeco Field as we continue our conversation with our A's insider Joe Stiglitz. Joe, we were talking about improvements that need to be made with the Athletics, specifically offensively, and you were kind of kicking that around a little bit.
I think they got to find a leadoff hitter as good as Joey Wendell's looked. I'm not sure if he's your opening day leadoff guy going into next year, even if he may be your second baseman. Who knows? We'll see what happens with him and with Jed Lowry there too. But they need a leadoff type guy. You got to identify somebody who can get on base and make things happen. Chris Davis, they got their cleanup guy there, but who's going to be the number 3 hitter looking ahead of next year? I was asking Bob Melvin about that before yesterday's game. Is Ryan Healy's doing a great job right now? Has he earned the right to open up next year as your number 3 hitter? Or do we have to try to go after somebody else there? But I think, you look at the RBI totals. You got Chris Davis, I believe he's right at 100 RBIs right now. The next guy, I believe, is down in the 70s right now. So you need some more punch, some more run production somewhere in the middle of that lineup. We'll see if that's reinforcements coming up from the minor leagues or if you got to go out and look for somebody in the offseason. But I think you're right. The offense, at the beginning of the year, I thought this offense was definitely better than last year on paper, but it's been way too spotty, no doubt.
Do you think about situational hitting? And I say that, and I know he's probably heard me say it too many times, but the game in Anaheim, there were 2 left at third. That's in 2 outs, 3 last night. That's 5 times. And we talked about what we figure the average, Kai? Was it 53%,
I think, is getting, the average getting the runner home from third with less than 2 outs.
I was talking to Manny Acta, who's managed Washington and Cleveland, and he said, those you have to score. You have to have those runs in somehow. Whether the infield's in, but if you don't make contact, you can't get them in. And so hopefully, and we continue to talk about the young players gaining experience, but those situations, you've got to get a runner from second to third, nobody out, lead off double, different things like that. And this guy's Manny Acta's managed. He's coaching third base now, but he knows the importance of the gift runs in the early part of the game. And I think that's one area that Darren Bush has done a great job as a hitting coach and teaching the young kids and kind of helping them out with the pitches that the opposing pitchers throw. But combined with the offense, you talk about Kite, that situational hitting can really help. This is gift runs, and it helps the pitching and helps the defense.
No doubt.
The A's as a team have not struck out a lot this year, but it seems like they've struck out at bad times.
Like with the runner in third.
I mean, they're the second fewest strikeouts in the American League.
Not striking out, but and they're not drawing walks. And they're not drawing walks. They're not getting on base nearly enough, obviously.
Well, that's one thing we talked about, the lack of walks, but when they do walk, they're not scoring them. And those are free passes that you at least like to have some results on the positive side. Now, you talk about the 70 runs batted in, look at the shortstop, too. I mean, the season that Marcus Semien has had with 27 home runs and 70 some odd RBIs. Yeah. So, I mean, to have that kind of production up the middle, be the shortstop, but I think he's only going to get better. 15 last year, 27 this year. So, and he wants to play every day.
And Joe mentioned the third spot in the lineup. And there's a lot that goes into that spot. I think Ryan Healy, Marcus Semien are good young hitters. Wendell, nice play. Throws, and they got it. Perfect play.
Fantastic play right there.
Great play. Nicely done.
To his right, and Joe, you mentioned defense. I'd heard the same thing. He took exception to the fact that people said he couldn't play defense. He has worked really hard either at the minor leagues, and I know Steve Scarsoni talked about the kid 2 years down there, and he said, he deserves the opportunity to come up and play. And Scar talked about how much he saw him work hard to try to improve on his defense, and working with Washington, we've seen that.
Yeah, and Joey was honest with me. I talked to him recently. He said, "You know what? I had 2 years.
Right?
Yeah, I had 2 years in AAA." He goes, and I think I needed that before to come up here and be an impact guy. That was impressive. He got to his feet that quick, off balance throw and an accurate throw to first too.
And Matt Chapman's name has come up continuously, and then you start saying, and I know, talk to some people, they say, let him start at AAA, let him get his feet. And to your point of what Joey Wendell said, 2 years of AAA, nobody likes to do that.
Yeah.
But bottom line, if you feel you need that time there, so be it.
But don't you think too, if you have spent 2 years at AAA playing every day, then you should be ready to play in the big leagues if you're good enough to play.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, if you've played 250 games in AAA over 2 years, that's a lot of baseball at the highest minor league level.
Right.
You should be ready to go if you are talented.
Right. No doubt about that.
you're looking at 1,000 plate appearances, which at one time it was the number of innings, number of plate appearances before he came to the big leagues. But I think, you know, it's going to be interesting this offseason, and I think the A's really have a dilemma because, to your point about adding some pieces, maybe some veterans, but if you have a lot of young players, maybe you go that route the whole way and let these guys build together and play as a team. Like you said, they had played together at the minor league level. If you have a championship team and you have guys retiring and you're bringing in new guys, but you're keeping the core. But in this case, it seems like the A's have a lot of young guys.
Yeah.
That maybe that would be the route instead of having a mixture of veterans. Just say, hey, we're young. The old saying about come and grow with us. Well, maybe that's an opportunity.
A's are trying to identify their core right now, I think.
Exactly.
Well, you're part of our core, Joe.
Absolutely.
Happy
Thanks,
to be
buddy.
here. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Joe Stigler.
Can't wait for your off season, Joe.
Yeah, you got it.
Joe just started working. The A's top of the fifth inning. Beautiful look at the Space Needle.
Guess who went to visit and see the Space Needle? I mean, I know you.
Did you go?
No, Chris Smith. I've seen all of them a long time ago. But Chris Smith talked about seeing the Space Needle walking around. But, you know, you see all these things for the first time. You know, it's exciting.
That is. And you should go if
Yeah,
you've
that's
seen it
right.
for the
I
first
did a
time.
long time ago.
High pop-up. It's going to be into the seats. There's Chris Smith. He's had a lot of fun.
Oh, he's been. You know, Cap, I was talking to him in Anaheim, and I asked him, I said, what are the last 2 months of this season meant to you? And he was so emotional, he couldn't answer. That's how much he has really appreciated what the A's opportunity has given to him. And, you know, he does not know what's going to happen after Sunday, but he said what has happened these 2 months came up in early August and September. He said there are 2 months I will never forget in my life. And, I mean, he's been – I mean, every player should look at Chris Smith and say, I want to be like him, because he has fought back, gotten back to the big leagues after a couple of times in independent baseball. And, you know, as we celebrate and think about the great Vin Scully, who's broadcasting his final 3 games of his career, and he talked about his wife's grandfather, who is a Dodgers fan, and when Chris was with the Brewers, they played in Milwaukee, in Los Angeles, and he said, Vin Scully was talking about me. He said, can you believe that? He actually said, Chris Smith is coming in to pitch, and he said he started talking about me, and he said, my wife's grandfather said, they're talking about you. Vin Scully's talking about you. But, I mean, it's just
that's it. That'll do it then.
Come and sit down here. I want to talk to you. He won't say, okay, what do you want? But you know, it's refreshing. I mean, guys get to the point, they get the big leagues, and I'm here, I never have to worry about it. But I mean, he's proof that you can be in the big leagues, you go back, and you work hard, and you come back, and you really appreciate it.
Well, we certainly hope. Runner goes. And Simeon's going to have a stolen base. Simeon got a good jump. Swipes the bag. He's have a runner at second base and nobody out here in the top of the fifth.
Now Walker forgot about it, and you know, maybe thinking I have a big lead, 5-0. Forget about it. Well, Zunino fortunately had Marte cut in front because Zunino had no chance to throw him out on a sidearm quick release. Marte cutting in front to keep the ball from going to center field. The A's 3 opportunities now to get on the board thanks to the stolen base. Zach Neal's retired 6 in a row.
And what I was starting to say, Ray, is that I hope Vin Scully has a wonderful weekend, which I'm sure he will. He's in San Francisco doing the Dodger-Giants game. But what do you think he's going to feel like after the game on Sunday? I mean, was it 67 years? Is that the?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
And look,
that's it. He's never going to announce another game.
He will be 89 at the end in November this year.
Okay.
So 90 next year. And as he said in his speech at Dodger Stadium on the Friday night, he said when people retire at 65, they talk about what they're going to do, travel. He says when you're 89, all you talk about is living.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
but you know, I think for him, after Sunday, although that will be the end of his career, but what's going to be like next spring.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Follow Athletics Baseball Live with the MLB.com at bat app. Stay up to the moment, any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet. But we always talk about guys whose careers end, whether they announce the retirement or they finally say, hey, enough's enough. But you go through the winter time and it's normal. It's spring training when the routine starts again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's when it kind of hits, because like Derek Jeter, remember he said, I'm not working out this winter and I'm not going to spring training.
So it's not November, December, January. Right. It's February and March.
Yeah. But now Derek Jeter is going to wait, 3 more years, go to Cooperstown, and then his life changes. Just like Randy Johnson and Mariano Rivera and those guys will go in. But for Vin Scully, he's already there, and his great broadcasting career is ended. Ending this Sunday, and he's out on his own terms. It's not like somebody pushed him out. But I agree with you. It's going to be a life-changing experience for him. But in a sense, because he's kind of scaled back his work, like not traveling that much, doing the series in San Francisco. He didn't come to Oakland last year.
Well, we wish him the best of luck.
Absolutely.
You read a lot about Vin Scully the last couple months, and I was reading an article about what Red Barber, his first partner, when Scully was very young, and he gave him some advice. He said, Scully was thinking, what am I going to bring to the booth? It's Red Barber. I don't know. And Red Barber told him, you're going to bring something to the booth that nobody else can bring. Your personality.
That's right.
And you know, I thought about that. I was like, that makes perfect sense. I mean, it's not about the notes and all that. It's about the delivery, and his delivery was the greatest.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not even close, really.
You know, I asked him. I did a couple of interviews. Matter of fact, I ran one tonight on the radio side, and tomorrow night as well. But I asked him about working solo. And of course, there's a great one, Dave Niehaus also. But I asked him about. He said, think about it. If you're trying to sell somebody a car, you want somebody else to talk also, or you want to just try to sell it yourself?
That's beautiful.
You know, but I mean, that's the amazing thing, that you're in the business and you realize that he is there by himself. He's got Boyd Robertson. He's got, of course, Brian Hagan, the stat gentleman we have in Anaheim, who is in San Francisco this weekend. But, you know, that's it. Denny does it on his own, by himself, and that's exceptional.
And how many times, we've been working together for 13 years. It happens to me like 5 times a game, where you start telling a story and something happens and the story goes away. It never happens to Vinny.
I know, that's right. That's
Never.
Right. That's right.
There's always like the right amount of foul balls with Vinny telling a story. I mean, if that's not, being the king, I don't know what is.
Absolutely.
When we were talking with Joe Stiglitz about the MVP awards and guys were hitting home runs, that would have never happened to Vinny. Ever.
That's right.
So that is 5 walks now for Taijuan Walker. So he's been struggling a little bit. He's given the A's some opportunities. They just have not been able to come through. So 88 pitches with 2 outs here in the 5th. So a pretty high pitch count. So he'll get a visit from Stottlemyre Jr.
And he may be saying, hey, kid, you got a 5-run lead. Let him hit the ball. That's your defense. And maybe that's exactly also what Robinson Cano is saying. Because you try to be too fine, and all of a sudden, one swing of the bat, it's a 2-run game.
So 5 walks, 2 strikeouts for Walker so far. He's allowed just 1 hit. Pitch to Joey Wendell. Fastball away.
Just thinking, watching Taijuan Walker in the 5 walks, his release point is all over the place.
Yeah, that's a good call.
He's not consistent at all releasing the ball.
Strike there, 1-1 the count. Joey Wendell has grounded to short, and he has grounded to second. Snapped in that big curveball. It's a good pitch for Walker when he throws it near the strike zone.
He got the high fastball called a strike, and now this curveball floats in, and Bonino kept it in the strike zone for a little bit extra look for the home plate umpire.
High fastball, and Wendell takes a big rip at it. So 2 on 2 out here in the 5th. And that one is foul. Zunino quickly from behind home plate, but it ball stayed foul.
What do you think that hit, Kite? Maybe we could see it again, because when the ball spins out, unless it hit window, had to have hit something, because it was called a dead ball. There's no reason to call that foul unless he picked it up in foul territory.
He may have picked it up.
Yeah, because if it hits behind the plate and spins out in front of him in the fair territory, it's a fair ball, and maybe Zunino just picked it up too quickly. Let it roll. Didn't think it hit somebody, which would have deadened the ball, but evidently he did pick it up in foul territory.
Wendell good take there. See if it's in foul territory. With a white line, and it was.
Yeah, it must have been spinning backwards, and he tried to grab it before it went back into foul territory. And plus, no reason to throw, just tag the hitter.
Bounce to Cano. Cano drops it, nowhere to go. Simeon stops at third, and the A's have the bases loaded.
You know, it looked like Cano wanted to throw the ball behind his back. It might have had a better chance to do that. Given error, field of choice E4. But as he's going to his right, he had a long run to get to the ball. But see if he throws the ball behind his back. But he just looked like he tried to stop and flip it over to Marte, so the A's catch a break with the error.
Just the 3rd error of the year for Robinson Cano. Here's Vogt in first strike.
Well, Cano did have to range far to his right, but just had the ball pop out of his glove as he's getting ready to flip it to Marte. And he was going to throw it over the top.
Popped up. And that's not going to get it done. Seager onto the grass. Side retired. So the A's leave them loaded in the top of the 5th. We're headed to the bottom of the 5th. Still 5-0 Seattle. Seasons here in Seattle for Robinson Cano. Home run total has gone up big time each year. I think last year, at least the first half of the season, he was a little bit banged up. Ended up with 21 homers, 79 RBIs. But this year, 38 homers, 100 RBIs for Robinson Cano. And Cano's going to lead it off, followed by Cruz and Seager. So the home run total for Cano is a career high. Not surprised with that. And he's got a chance for a 3 home run game. He's done it. No, he has not. Jose Lopez did it. So last Mariner to do it. Jose Lopez.
That name.
Yep. Cano hit 33 home runs in 2012 for New York. That was his career high until this year. His career high in RBIs is 118. He did that in 2011.
Well, many said that when Robinson Cano signed with the Mariners, left the Yankees, he signed for the money. Well, he got a lot of money, but he's also playing a lot of good baseball.
Yes, he has.
And the fact that some said that you want to go back to the Yankees, he said, no, I'm going to stay, and I want to stay with the Mariners. And he is the leader of this ball club. And to have those numbers as a second baseman, how the game has changed, where you can have a second baseman hit 38 home runs, driving over 100. And this was the first one. It put the Mariners on the board 2-0. A slicing line drive into the party deck, and then this one straight away center. Smolinski almost caught it. I think Alcantara knew he'd given it up again, but just in a period of 2 batters in the 3rd. Matter of fact, Alcantara gave up 5 runs the first 3 tonight, just like he did in his major league debut against the Angels.
Olsen waits, and he's got it. So Cano is retired for the first time. So 1 out. Here's Cruz. Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 5-3. David Ortiz with home run number 38. He knocked in 3, so David Ortiz 38 homers, 127 RBIs. And the Red Sox, of course, winners of the East. Actually, the Texas Rangers won tonight, Ray, and that guarantees the Rangers home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So they clinched that tonight with their win. So we now know it'll be the Red Sox and the Indians in the division series, and the Rangers will play the wild card game winner. So we also know that the Nats and the Dodgers will play in game 1 in the first series. So trying to find out who's going to play who, which is always kind of fun.
Well, from the Ranger standpoint, you mentioned through the playoffs, because that could change if they lose, but assuming if they do go through and they get the World Series, they'll be a home field the whole way, because the American League does have home field advantage in the World Series. So that's good for the Rangers and their fan base.
So the Blue Jays, they're trying to figure out what has happened, because they were rolling along, and then I mean they seem to have that number 1 wild card spot. I don't want to say wrapped up, but a week ago they were in a pretty good spot, and now they are limping home, and they are just a half game ahead of the Tigers. Cruz pelts one, but well fouled.
He guessed on that one. He did not guess on this one. That was a hanging slider, and Cruz. That's how close Walensky came, and it did hit the rail and back. And they reviewed it and said home run.
Cruz taps that one foul. That's a swinging strikeout. So Zach Neal has come in. He's done a nice job.
Yes, he has.
Never too late to make an impression, right?
Yeah, 3rd strikeout, and again, I think Zach realizing that, especially now with the postseason implications and a lot of Blue Jays. I saw Ed Letch, who's scouts for the Blue Jays, high up, and so there's a lot of scouts here watching, and they're watching more than just the Mariners. They're watching other players. In this case, Zach Neal. So he's been very impressive. In fact, he made a start back in the early part of the season here that did not fare that well, but never lost a bit of confidence. Had a great start against the Orioles, picked up a win when he, Graveman, and Detweiler went back to back to back. Just think of the Orioles, thinking about those 3 losses they had to the A's. 1-run games, a lot of ground ball outs.
That's right. Orioles beat the Yankees 8-1, and all of a sudden the Baltimore Orioles are the #1 wild card team.
And really, that's big in itself, because you host the play-in game.
No question. Home runs in that game for the Orioles. Adam Jones hit his 29th. Mark Trumbo hit his 47th. Jonathan Scope hit his 25th. Jonathan Scope, Ray, you don't hear a lot about. 25 home runs and 37 doubles.
Wow. And playing a great second base next to J.J. Hardy. And for J.J. Hardy, who's an outstanding shortstop, Jonathan Scope was the best second baseman he's ever seen.
He's kind of a sleeper player on that team.
It says a lot about a double play combination. But for the Orioles, because they play so well at home, if they get the #1 wild card and they host it, that could be a boon for them.
The Orioles now have won 6 out of their last 7. The Blue Jays have lost 4 out of their last 5. Seager hits it hard. Wendell backhand, straightens up, throws in time. Nice play, Joey Wendell. He's made a couple nice plays tonight. 6th inning coming up from Seattle. Mariners 5, A's nothing. Railroads go out for a train ride through the redwoods on Thomas, come back with Percy. Some say it's a trick. We say it's a treat. It's a Link Light Rail and runs through downtown Seattle. And the A's trying to get something going against Walker. They did in the 5th, bases loaded, but it came with 2 outs, and Stephen Vogt popped out to end the inning. Evan Scribner starts to throw. Healy hits one high in the air, right center, hit pretty well. Martinez at the wall, and that baby's gone. Ryan Healy, a towering drive to deep right center field. And that is home run number 13 for Healy.
7th in this month, Kai.
Wow.
Starting on the 7th of September. This ball just kept carrying, just like KD. Chris Davis and opposite field power. That's a great combination to have. And you know, Joe, and we were talking that if Ryan Healy's in the 3rd spot and you have Chris Davis, that's some pretty powerful guys, especially with their opposite field power. So right center for Ryan Healy. What a shot.
Well, he's hit a bunch of doubles to right,
yeah,
but that's his first home run to right field. So he's got to be happy with that. Huge month of September for Healy.
Had the bases loaded last inning. If they just had a hit to drive in a couple to get them on the board. Took a solo home run to do that, but Walker was walking the fine line trying to get through the inning, and he got it out. Got the foul out.
Breaking ball there, and Chris Davis swings and misses. So that's the first out here in the 6th inning.
That's a good slider. Just sharply breaking away from Chris Davis.
So this will be Yonder Alonso for his 3rd at bat. Shift on for Alonso. This one down the left field line foul. Attendance tonight is 24,088. So a bit better than last night. Last night 19,000, but I would imagine tomorrow and Sunday there'll be even bigger crowds. Big football game tonight going on across town at the University of Washington, and the Huskies there putting it to the Stanford Cardinal. Game get late, but you figure there's probably 65,000 people over there, and may have hurt the attendance here a little bit.
I think you're right. Pretty good crowd, though. This is fan appreciation night here for the Mariners.
Jonas Martin, who was shaded that way, he makes the catch. So 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Marcus Semien will step in. A double and a walk for Semien. Fastball, 95 miles an hour. So with this being the last start of the year for Walker, now up to 111 pitches.
And speaking of last starts for Mingden and Alcantara, a couple of the youngsters, not that great for Mingden. The 8 earnings at Anaheim, and Alcantara 3rd inning tonight, 3 innings, 5 runs.
Martin turns around, gets back, makes the catch. Side retired. A's are on the board thanks to the red hot Ryan Healy, who hits his 13th home run of the year. And there it is. So bottom of the 6th coming up. It's 5-1 Seattle. That's Ken Griffey Jr. Second to last home run of his career. Comes off Clayton Mortensen and the Athletics. Griffey would retire early the next season. He finished with 630 career home runs. All-Star 13 times, Gold Glover 10 times. So he is 6th on the all-time home run list.
The highlight for me was when he and his dad went back-to-back.
That's right.
That had to be great. So Jackie Robinson 42, Ken Griffey Jr. 24, the first ever Seattle Mariner to go to Cooperstown. Was the big unit Randy Johnson. Pitched 11 years here and went in as an Arizona Diamondback. Ken Griffey Jr. to everybody here just simply Junior. So the Dave Niehaus broadcast booth, he always called him Junior. Scored the run in the 95 game on Edgar Martinez double down the left field line. Edgar could pull his hands in quite nicely also.
What about the Mariners going from 13th in the league in runs scored last year to 4th this year? You think Edgar Martinez has anything to do with that?
Absolutely. 100%.
I mean, I would not say the personnel is a whole lot different.
But he's got a baseball card that's pretty impressive. It's power right in the middle of the lineup. There's a couple of them, Seager behind him. So they've got those three kind of wrapped up.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
The only hitter I ever saw who would actually take batting practice with the weighted donut on the end of the bat. I mean, that's, I don't know if there's one down him in the on deck circle, but it looks like a donut. It's round. It goes on the end of the bat. And it's weighted. It gives the extra weight on it. And
well, this was the Ken Griffey Jr. retirement ceremony. Very nice night. And the Mariners do a good job with the pregame festivities.
But when he threw out the first pitch, he gave a Felix Hernandez. Junior always had a good time. He could play that. 630. But when this stadium was built, and it was a result of what he and Edgar did in '95, as a matter of fact, and of course they could say that Safeco Field was built because of the way the Mariners came back in '95. In fact, we were just in Anaheim. The A's lost 9 consecutive games in the '95 season. Losing 4 straight to the Angels helped them have a 1-game playoff against the Mariners.
Right.
And it was the big unit going against Rick Langford. And if the A's had just won 1 game against the Angels, the Mariners would not have had to use the big unit in that 1 playoff game. But
Zach Neal gets Leonis Martin.
But they did, and I was talking to Tim Salmon. Salmon said that his numbers against Randy Johnson in Anaheim, I think he said he had 2 or 3 home runs. He said in Seattle he could not do anything against the unit. He said something like playing in the Kingdom looked like he was 100 feet tall and 2 feet from you.
A little gray inside there.
Yeah, but he said in his whole career, Randy Johnson only faced him twice in Anaheim, the rest of the time in Seattle. And he said, I punched out as much as anybody.
Simeon, backhand, little double clutch, throws though in time. And the side is retired. Another good inning for Zach Neal. 5-1 after 6.
For the 2016 Oakland Athletics, but it's never too early to start planning a spring break trip to see your Oakland Athletics in sunny Mesa, Arizona in 2017. Spring training home schedule features 18 games at Hohokam Stadium and is now available online. Be sure to visit athletics.com/spring Join us at the best ballpark in the Cactus League. That's athletics.com/spring. Will.
That's our guy. How do you get up here? He's everywhere. He's breaking it down too. Look at him. When it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Hey, our old friend Evan Scribner comes in, and well, the manager, Scott Service, raving in the newspaper today about the job that Evan Scribner's done. He's been hurt most of the year, but just now back healthy, and look at the numbers.
14 Ks in 12 1/3 innings. Always had the good 12-6 curveball, developed the cut fastball when he's with the Athletics. It's a good pitch for him.
And he faces Maxwell, Smolinski, and Olsen. So 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts, and 113 pitches. So Walker, even though he gave up 2 hits, probably wasn't real sharp, but just 1 run allowed in 6 innings. Struggled a little bit with his control. Ben's Gamble in right, Guillermo Heredia in left.
Same defensive move last night for Scott Service. Well, Evan Scribner will always be remembered for the game 162 in 2012 when he came in a relief of A.J. Griffin. Well, DeMeritt held the Rangers down, able the A's to come from behind, and the rest is history in that 162. We talked about, and really at the beginning we're talking about the young pitchers and everybody with options. Well, the one thing that really hurt Evan Scribner was he had options. He kept going back and forth between, at the time, Oakland and Sacramento, but once the options were up, he's had to make a decision, and he basically ended up with the Mariners. He and Ryan Cook. Cook is also hurt. Cook is still on the DL. And Evan Scribner can pitch.
2-2 pitch. Always had good control. Maxwell has walked and struck out, and that one just a little off the plate.
This is a pitch that has not been called tonight by James Hoyle, the home plate umpire. Going to try it again, outside corner.
And foul straight back. So Scribner just working inside and then outside. Pitch is driven in the air, pretty well hit to left. Heredia racing back near the wall, and he makes the catch, bangs up against the wall. So Heredia hustled back.
God, this is exactly what we've talked about over and over. Opposite field. In this case, left fielder, left-handed hitter. Heredia playing shallow, taking away a possible base hit. But he can do one thing: go back on a baseball. He went a long way to the wall. Kept his concentration on the ball, banged into the wall, but brought it back and brought it in to make the out. But the more the outfielder can go back on the ball, the more it allows him to play shallow and take hits away in front of him.
And he turned around and just went full speed toward the wall.
And that's the knack for the outfielders as well, the crack of the bat, and know exactly how well the ball's been hit. So I always think, coming into the professional ranks after playing college baseball in high school with aluminum bats, there's no crack of the aluminum. It's tough to tell. You know, the ball is hit and
different
ping.
sound.
That's right.
0-2 pitch. Fastball.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's up and in. Maybe a little close to Smolinski, but at least the 0-2 pitch inside. See if he's going to go some sort of off-speed pitch.
Good breaking ball, and Smolinski strikes out. So 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Coming off their amazing run at the Stanley Cup, the Western Conference champion Sharks will be soon back on that ice. Sharks hockey returns October 15th to CSN California. The home of the authentic Sharks fan is CSN California. So 2 outs here in the 7th inning, and Matt Olson will hit. Matt Olson takes a strike down around the knees. Olson has hit a fly ball to left, and he has walked.
You know, season will be complete if Matt Olson could hit his first major league home run. Maxwell, Pinder. Window. There's Healy. He's been up for a while. It is off the knuckleballer.
There's probably more. We're just not seeing them. High pop-up, shallow left. Seager backpedaling, and then he's called off by Heredia, and Heredia makes the catch. So Scribner continues his good roll. He has a 3-up, 3-down inning. Beer. On this date in 1987, Dave Stewart becomes a 20-game winner. A's beat Cleveland 4-3. The 30-year-old right-hander spent the first decade of his career in the bullpen. He also earned 20 or more victories in the next 3 seasons. So it started in 87, and then in 88, 89, and 90 for Dave Stewart. And it all figured out, including a no-hitter.
Yep, in Toronto that night, Fernando Valenzuela pitched one as well. But he was a big game pitcher, and Tony La Russa in his first game managing the Athletics in Boston against Roger Clemens named Dave Stewart as his starting pitcher. And Stu just, well, Clemens had no chance every time he faced the A's when Stu was pitching.
So kind of a career that started out slow, but finished very strong.
He had the ability. The forkball was a great pitch, and Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, kind of said, you know, let's try the forkball, and it was just a devastating pitch for hitters to try to hit. But he probably the only one could put the ball in his glove and wrap his fingers around it like the forkball. So he never fanned his glove or anything, and never had to set his grip up with the forkball or the splitter. He just did it with the fingers. I mean, the most amazing thing, he had the lengthy fingers to be able to do it.
Well, Marte is retired for the 3rd time. How about Zach Neal?
How about it?
He's perfect, Ray.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
He came in after the Seager double
Yep.
in the 3rd inning and has just rolled right through the Mariners lineup.
Well, and the fact that he is a starting pitcher and he has some length that he can do exactly what he's doing and actually getting better.
Here he faces Ben Gamel, who was in the game for defense. So this is his first at bat. Gamel taps one right back to Neal. Picks it up, throws to first, 2 outs.
And a ground ball pitcher that Neal is, that's his 8th ground ball out in his short amount of time. Very impressive outing. You might say, well, the Mariners had a 5-0 lead, but you bring somebody in, it could be a lot more than that. These gives the A's a chance to come back and do something against the Mariners.
So here's Heredia. Heredia also in the game for defense. This pitch is a strike. And 4 home runs tonight by the Seattle Mariners. That's the story. Nick Vincent, the right-hander, starts to throw. We'll see if it's just a 1-inning outing for Evan Scribner. Nicely done. Jealous.
Frame it.
Heads up in the crowd. Wow, that is scary. I'm afraid somebody may have gotten hit right behind the Mariners dugout. Pitch is lofted in the air to Davis. And that'll do it. So how about Zach Neal? He's the A's MVP so far tonight. 5-1 Mariners lead after 7.
Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
Well, this season, Ross and CSN California teamed up to give 1st through 8th grade students the chance to earn 2 free tickets to a game. Ace Mathletics workbook program, which engaged students to solve baseball-related equations. For more information on this unique educational program, visit athletics.com/mathletics. So it is the top of the 8th inning when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up repair experts. It's Nick Vincent who takes over. So Scribner goes 1 good inning, and now Vincent takes over here in the 8th. Vincent, 59th appearance, so he's been busy out of the Mariners bullpen. You see Joey Wendell, who is 0 for 3, reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th. That was the ball that Cano missed. Went as a fielder's choice E4. Reach for, hit towards shallow center, but Martin hustles in. And Martin takes care of it.
And Joey Wendell, as we mentioned, is going to go to play winter baseball for about 6 weeks in Mexico. He's going to be playing third base. And he's going to learn how to hit off-speed pitches because he will get a lot of them.
Curve.
He plays there. Nothing wrong with winter baseball because it gets you an extension of playing baseball in the wintertime, maybe work on some things. In his case, he said he's going to be home by Thanksgiving, so he's not going to play probably the full season. Manny Acta, who's the general manager winter baseball, he says they had kind of half and half. He had some guys come in for half a season. But in Joey Wendell's case, he will play until Thanksgiving and get ready for next spring, but can learn a lot. Daniel Coulomb.
What would you say is the minor league equivalent to the Mexican League? AAA?
I'd say most winter baseballs, and because they're only allowed, I think someone had said 5 American players.
Really? That's
but
it, huh?
Yeah, when I was in Venezuela, it was 8. Because, you know, you think about whether it's Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Mexico, they want their own players to play as much as possible and
it's
have
a
more.
big deal if they do play.
Absolutely. And, you know, there are restrictions. Things have changed as far as who can play and as far as the major league players who can't. But I'd say AAA probably would be a good call. But it's great experience. And they always talk about the Mexican League that they throw a lot of off-speed pitches. And if you want to learn how to hit them, that's where you go.
Coming in left field is Heredia. He's got it. So Nick Vincent has a 3-up, 3-down inning. 5-1 as we head to the bottom of the 8th.
15 consecutive batters that he retired in 5 innings. He came in with a runner on second, then he got to third on a ground ball and then retired him. And Zach Neal, a tremendous effort tonight. 5 perfect innings.
Game summary for tonight brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 1-2-0 for the A's, 5-7-1 for the Mariners. 4 home runs for Seattle. That is the story in this game. For the A's, their only run came in the 6th inning. It was a solo shot by Ryan Healy. And the A's offense continues to struggle, heading down the home stretch here in 2016. That's a bright spot, Zach Neal.
Absolutely.
So he can head home feeling good about his final appearance.
Yeah, he's done for the weekend. But you think from Bob Melvin, Kurt Young's standpoint, and just the organization to know that Zach Neal can start 5 innings tonight. I mean, saved the bullpen, but also kept it close. Did not allow anybody to reach base, and just did an exceptional job.
Daniel Colon faces Robinson Cano. First pitch in first strike. It's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair expert. So, 34th appearance for Daniel Colon. Colon has had a lengthy audition for next year. And showing the A's you can get out Robinson Cano is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you're going to face him a lot. Grounds that one toward Joey Wendell. Cano is retired for the 2nd time, but he has a 2-homer game, so he's done his damage. Steve Cishek starting to throw.
And one of the differences the season makes for Steve Cishek, because he was the closer beginning of the season, and young Diaz came up, has taken over that role, but Cishek still here with a different type of delivery. More of a setup now.
First pitch to Nelson Cruz is a bit low. Cruz single, homer, strikeout. His homer in the 3rd was his 42nd of the year. Cruz last year, in his first year in Seattle, hit 44. So he has 3 straight 40-plus home run seasons. Remember that one year in Baltimore, he hit 40.
Swung and missed that pitch. I wonder if it affected him, because he's taking some time getting back, and there's something wrong. Maybe his wrist, something happened, because when he swung through the pitch and missed it, he was grimacing after it happened.
And he's been a little bit banged up here at the end of the year.
And hitters will tell you that everything is fine if they make contact, but when they miss, then everything follows through, and then you have your hands, your elbows, something can happen to your body.
Breaking ball, he grimaced again.
Yeah, he's feeling it. That's
interesting note there. Last player to hit 40 home runs in 3 straight seasons, Ryan Howard, did it 4 straight years with the Phillies. To pitch a little bit outside. Ryan Howard playing his last games with the Phillies this weekend. I understand his first at bat tonight to get a standing ovation. He's been a very good player for the Phillies. Nelson Cruz strikes out, so 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. And we'll be back with you tomorrow. Yes, indeed. It'll be Jarrell Cotton and Hisashi Iwakuma. 5th start for Jarrell Cotton. It's an hour earlier tomorrow, so we'll come your way with A's pregame live at 5:30. So make sure you tune in. It's always fun to watch Jarrell Cotton. Even Bob Melvin said today, sitting in the dugout, he said, hey, he's kind of fun to watch. You know, there's something about him. He's not a real big guy. But he comes right at you. So we look forward to seeing Jarrell Cotton. I would say that Jarrell Cotton has done quite well in his chance here in the big leagues, to the point where he may be maybe the best candidate of all the young pitchers after Gray, Graben, and Manaea to get a shot next year to be in that rotation.
I'd say he's got a great shot.
Pretty good audition.
Near perfect game in AAA. Steve Scarsoni, his manager, was with us in Anaheim, but very impressed with the young man.
It's hard not to be. So Cotton will have a good challenge going up against this good Mariners lineup. Roll foul. Seager tonight has walked, doubled, and grounded out. Seven hits for the Mariners, just 2 hits for the Athletics. He's had 9 hits in the game last night. Swing, gonna miss on a breaking ball. Good inning for Daniel Colomb. So Zach Neal, Daniel Colomb doing their thing, but work to do for the A's. One more shot. Athletics trail 5-1.
Or join the party, visit athletics.com/2017. You'll find all the benefits that A's membership has to offer, including early bird incentives, exclusive experiences, half-price parking, flexible ticket exchange program, and more. You can even lock in your 2017 seating location. Visit athletics.com/2017. Join the party today.
Hey, don't forget about our in-depth sports news for all the great Bay Area sports fans. It's Sportsnet Central, brought to you by Hyundai tonight at 10:30. And it's on CSN Bay Area. Warriors getting set for the real stuff. Game action. Kevin Durant. Should be a fun season. 49ers and Raiders getting ready for Sunday. And Ryder Cup Day 1 highlights. Beautiful look at downtown Seattle. So Cishek comes in. He is the 4th pitcher of the night. Chris Davis swings at the first pitch, hits it on the ground to the shortstop Marte. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 9th inning. $25 saves for Cishek. Mariners signed him to a 2-year deal in the offseason. He faces Yonder Alonso. Fastball for a strike. Yonder Alonso hitless tonight. The A's 2 hits, Simeon's double in the 2nd, Healy's home run in the 6th. That's it. We've just had a few too many quiet nights offensively.
And too many loud ones hit by the Mariners tonight for sure.
Yeah.
And the Mariners knew coming into the game any hope, which is dwindling fast, and that is to have to win. And they got off to a good start in the first couple of innings. And in fact, the Mariners have not had a hit since Seager in the 3rd inning. And Zeal and Coulombe, they retired 18 consecutive.
So the Mariners 1 out away from staying alive for another day. So really, all that's happened today is that the wild card race has got a little bit tighter, even if that's possible. The Baltimore Orioles now taking over the #1 spot. Toronto's hold on that 2nd spot is just a half game now over the Tigers. And the Mariners right behind the Tigers. So tomorrow's game will mean something for the Mariners. They're not dead yet if they hang on and win this game. 1-1 to count to Marcus. Cano backpedaling. This should do it, and it will. So the A's go quietly in the 9th inning, and the Seattle Mariners stay alive for at least one more day as they take game 2 of this series. So 2 hours and 35 minutes was time of game. The attendance tonight here at Safeco Field, 24,088. Final score, the Mariners 5 and the Athletics 1. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on CSN California. It's part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live with Brody Brazil and Pip Roberts starts right now.